Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I am Starco and today we are going to make a short, long, medium, whatever video about my Angela build, guys. I actually try earlier to put my beautiful face on the video recording, but I spent about 2 hours with shit fucking up on me non-stop. So guys, I'm sorry, but no face again today. I know, you're probably so sad, guys. Okay, so guys, it's time to go with my Angela build. First of all, guys, we gotta talk about one specific thing with her. It's our event rat. You see the orange bar above the elf bar, guys. It is event rat. When it's full, your power ability have no cooldown. So when it's full, you're gonna have a specific skill rotation to do that I will be explaining along the way, guys. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of what the event rat bar was. So let's start with the skills, guys. First skills is the basic skill, guys. The piercing ribbons is the ability that doesn't cost you anything, that you use as a filler when you have nothing else to do. It's a melee ribbons channel power. Hold down the button to set your ribbons to pull enemies directly in front of you. Basically, it acts like a machine gun, which is actually pretty cool to watch. It's going to do a really low amount of damage, and it will heal you for a pretty decent amount of damage. You also get a damage bonus of 1% for every 1% attack speed that you have. Second skills, guys, is the binding ribbon. It's a range ribbon crowd control cooldown power. Constrict enemies before you with living ribbons, binding them where they stand. You'll do a pretty decent amount of damage. You will weaken the target, so the target will deal 10% less damage to you. The weaken duration lasts 8 seconds. The stun duration lasts 2 seconds. You get a low amount of health back, and the cooldown is 4.5 seconds. The next ability, guys, I'm going through the abilities, then after that I'm going to be explaining the skill rotation. The next ability is the ridding ribbons. It's a melee ribbon cooldown bleeding power. Your ribbons reach out to trip up nearby enemies, making them vulnerable. It does a fair amount of damage. It makes target bleed. It's also but the target vulnerable. They will receive 10% more damage. It will last 8 seconds. And you'll be healed for a certain amount of health again, and the cooldown is 3 seconds. But the thing that you will see later with this ability, guys, is that in 95% of the cases you will not even have to touch this ability, but it's still practical to add it on your board just in case that at certain point you need to apply that bleeding on the target. But when we go through the talents, you will understand why I'm saying that you usually don't use this ability. The next ability we got, guys, is the dash power. Evenly charge, you're going to it's a melee movement dash cooldown. It's dash to enemies with sword brandish, your ribbons punctuating with a deadly flourish. Remove crowd control effects like any basic movement ability. It will do some sword damage, some ribbon damage. The cooldown is 4 seconds, and the max charge is 3 seconds. Next ability, if we go on the second action bar, you got the Angelic Smite. It's a melee cooldown movement sword lead power. That's a lot of title for one power, man. Take flight and dive into the middle of a group of enemy. Zaphos at the ready. It will do a really good amount of damage, AoE damage too. It will generate some event rat. It has a cooldown of 8 seconds. Pretty basic ability and really strong ability, guys. Next ability we're going to go with is the signature power called Nothing for Nothing. It's a signature melee power. Fly into a frenzy of gleaming slashes at blinding speed, building to a powerful crescendo on the final strike. Can be activated up to 3 times within 8 seconds. Cool. The cooldown is 39.9%. The things that we're going to go through with this ability, guys, is that the first part, you know, the first 2 activation trigger is actually visible for us with the talent that we are picking on our talent sheet that we're going to see later. So the 3 strikes are from the final activation. So basically every strike is going to trigger a healing ribbons welding axe strike. It's going to be do really high damage. It's going to heal you for 37.5% of your maximal health for every hit, so 3 times in a row. Also, you get a bonus damage of 40% when you are attacking a bleeding target. This ability, when you have full event wrath, instead of not having cooldown, because you know that's not possible for a signature power, that will be ridiculous. The cooldown of the power is reduced by 50%. So sorry, instead having a cooldown of 39.9 seconds, you'll have a cooldown of 19.8 seconds when you use it at max event wrath. Next power, guys, we have the execute ability. It's called Stunning Ichors. It's a range cooldown axe throw ability, flying your blades of Ichor, damaging and stunning all enemies in their path. Minimal damage, minimal base damage, but you have a brutal strike chance of 100%. Which is brutal damage. We all know, guys, it does a lot of freaking damage. Then you have execute part of it. You have 1% damage per 1% target missing health, but it will only, the execute part only works against the bleeding targets. Cooldown is 8 seconds. And the last ability, guys, you have the Hypnotic Ribbons. Ribbons cooldown, crowd control power. Your ribbons flow into a hypnotic dance, confusing and angering enemies around you. You get a really good amount of health. You will confuse the enemy. They're going to start attacking each other for 4 seconds, and they will do 2000% damage to each other, which is a lot of freaking damage. And the cooldown is 7.5 seconds. So now, guys, for the skill rotation. Skill rotation is pretty simple, guys. You want to start with making sure you have your bleeding up. So if there's no bleeding, you will use your Writhing Ribbons. Then you want to chain with this this ability, but sometimes you will have to use your leap to, you know, get into the range, do some good damage, and boom, use your confuse ability. And once you use your confuse ability, you want to, you know, make sure you apply to everybody. Then you want to use your execute ability, because people should be bleeding by now, so this is going to be a brutal strike attack and extra damage from execute to the targets. Then by that time, the confuse ability should be off the targets, so you are going to chain with this ability, the Binding Ribbons. That's going to stun the targets for 2 seconds. You're going to do your basic attack for the duration of the stun, and by the time that the stun wears off, you should be able to restart your rotation with your Hypnotic Ribbons and stop your. So it's the rotation you're going to use. You make sure your bleed is up, you confuse, you throw your execute, then you are ready to go with your stun and basic attack while the stun is active till the confuse ability is back up. It's a pretty simple rotation. When you actually get max event wrath, you will be using, first of all, this ability, every time the Event Rat is up, you should be able to get your Event Rat up every 20 seconds. So this is really good to use. Also guys, when I redo my rotation, I forgot to mention the charge. So bleed, leap, confuse, execute, stun, basic attack. That's how you do it. And you add your signature power when you have the max Event Rat to you know, maximize the damage you're going to do. Because if you can't sync your signature power every 20 seconds with your max Event Rat, you're going to increase your damage done by a lot. So that's pretty much it with the rotation, guys. When you have max Event Rat, like I said, you use that signature power 3 times really fast, then you pop as many execute as you can do, as long as your bleed is active. If your bleed disappeared, you want to reapply your bleed before you keep doing your execute ability here, because you need to have the bleeding on the enemies to do the extra damage. Now if we go with the talents, because you know, we talk about enough about the goddamn skill rotation and shit here, so let's go with the talent, guys, and it will explain to you a little bit too why I'm doing that skill rotation too, guys. So first talent that I picked was Relentless. The talent is going to make your sword and axes power have a 25% chance to automatically activate Ridding Ravens. Ridding Ravens is actually your bleeding ability. So that's part one why you should never have to use your Ridding Ravens. But you're probably thinking, but it's only 25% chance. Well, we're not done yet, guys. There will be another talent actually affect your Ridding Ribbons. Next talent, we have Rejuvenating Ribbons. Ribbons power restore 50% more health, and your base health is increased by 30%. Pretty standard ability here, guys. I don't think I really need to explain that one. Then the next talent is Flying Ribbons. Cooldown of ribbons power are reduced by 25%. So you know, you have your confuse ability and your stun ability. That cooldown is reduced, but it's really important just for the confuse ability, to be honest, to be able to use it as often as you can, because without this talent, the confuse ability has a 10-second cooldown, which kind of screw up the rotation I was giving you earlier, guys. So that's the third talent. Oh, wrong button here. Fourth talent here. You got Guardian Ribbons. The dealing damage with any ribbon's power will apply the bleed effect of Ridding Ribbons passive effect. The bleed effect of Ridding Ribbons, and we have a passing effect of projectile reflect 5%. And chance damage absorb 10%. So that's what I'm telling you guys, why you almost never have to use your Ridding Ribbons. It's because you only want the bleed from the Ridding Ribbons, and every ribbons that you actually use is going to be affecting with the bleed effect. So that's pretty much why, man. But if you see there's no bleeding effect on the target, well, you do it. And the last talent, guys, it's Mastery of the Bleed of Iker. All activation of Nothing for Nothing will use the Ribbon Weld Axe portion. What I was explaining earlier, it will only affect the last part of your signature power. So instead of slashing through and not being able to, you know, target properly with the first 2 activation, it will do the final activation 3 times. Basically, it will slash whatever is standing in front of you. So it's a lot easier to manage, do more damage, it heals you, so you know, it's better in my opinion. Yes, you won't generate Event Rat on it like the first part was doing, but defensively, survivability, damage output, it is better in my opinion. The ultimate power, we have Health and Bag. Unleash the full potential of your weaponry, training, and heritage in a glorious display of golden power. Active effect, damage 50,000 twice per second. Angela Ribbons periodically pull enemies near. You're going to be invulnerable while the power is active, which is 8 seconds. Then you have a buff effect. Your critical damage is increased. Critical hit damage, critical strike damage increased by 675. You gain 8% of max health per second for 20 seconds, and the cooldown is 7.5 minutes. Then the synergy, guys. Synergy is pretty simple. You want to focus on cooldown, power damage, yeah. You want to focus on melee power damage too. You want to try to, you have damage versus bleed too from Black Cat, you can see here. You also have here Cyclops at level 50 will give you Even Rat on enemy defeat, which is really useful. And you have increase Even Rat somewhere if I can find it. I can here War Machine and Star-Lord will give you 10 more Even Rat each, so it's not that bad. Not the best, but it's pretty good. And you got Square Girl that should be on every people's synergy if you actually level her because of the damage versus bosses. So that is pretty much it for the synergy. Infinity, I actually went with the power gem to actually increase the brittle strike, brittle damage. Basically, it's to go with your executability because the 100% guarantee brittle strike. So the most brittle damage you got, most damage you're going to do with that ability. You could also go with a royalty gem at the start with potency to increase the base damage to a signature powers. Since your signature powers already do a quite good amount of damage, that will also be a really good thing to actually do. Personally, I prefer to start with my power gem here, but eventually when I got enough here and strike through, I'm going to go on the other side and increase the damage of my signature power, guys. So that's pretty much it, guys, for my build. Again, guys, I did run a few days ago my Cosmic Trowel. I posted it on YouTube. If you want to take a look at it, guys, it is in the description of this video. I was pretty rusty when I first started my Cosmic Trowel, so the first part, you know, the Mandarin part is terrible. You can see everything that you should not be doing with Angela. And the second part was almost perfect, guys, so you can really see how to play Angela. A really good way to actually play her in the second part of the Cosmic Trowel video, guys. So if you feel like watching it, feel free to watch it, guys. The link is in the description below. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and watch the ads on the video to help support the channel.